Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last game of the SK Gaming versus Milk and Cookies. Yes, I am calling them Milk and Cookies. It is basically Milk Fat from Clan Milk and a bunch of his friends playing against SK Gaming here in the GameReplays.org Invitational Tournament. We got $2,000 on the line down the road for the finals. This is a qualifying match, but whoever wins this goes on to the next round. So SK and Milk have both won one game each, if you've been following along. So the first game there had been taken by SK by a large margin, and that flipped right around here with Milk and Cookies taking the second game. Thank you to a Nighthound pick that really came up in the world. He was really good. But enough of that. I am Four Court Jester, your host for this evening, and let's go through some of these bans. So bans include Soul Stealer, Kronos, Magmus, Nymphora, Forsaken Archer, and Vindicator. So not too sure on the Vindicator ban unless someone's going to be going jungling with a Tempest, but pretty standard stuff. Soul Stealer, Kronos, of course, very heavy kind of carries that have been banned, I think, all three games now. Forsaken Archer was really well played by Blavo in the first game by SK, so she is out of the picture. And now Magmus has also been banned. Great Initiator has been used in both games to great effect, and we're kind of sick and tired of playing with him, I suppose, so he has been banned. So bans out of the way, let's get to the picks. First pick went out to this Legion team, which is Clan Milk and Cookies. Hellbringer coming out, great support hero, also was not banned. He did really good last game, setting up a lot with his Malphus, but at the same time he died a lot. But he did his part, threw down the Malphus. That's all you really need to ask of your Hellbringer. That was answered to a Witch Slayer Andromeda, so that immediately looks like a roaming setup right there. Witch Slayer with some Striders, and an Andromeda with her swapping and Striders could be fun times. So, that being said, Engineer has come out for this Legion side with a Defiler, so we saw that combo game number 1, and that is quite the tower wrecking combo. So we will have to see if Clan Milk and Cookies here are going to be doing an early tower pushing strat yet again, but we will have to wait and see. Pebbles picked up here for SK with Valkyrie. Pebbles we haven't seen in a while, but he's a great mid hero, that one trick pony with his stones and his toss, so he might be able to do a lot of damage on these squishy kind of heroes. Give him a portal key and away he goes. Let's just see what the last ones here are picked up. Engineer and Torturer seem to be it. Torturer is something we haven't seen really in any kind of game. I can't tell you the last time I saw a Torturer, but that being said, Pharaoh coming out again. We had a Pharaoh first game with DRD King Raven, and unfortunately he just did not do super well with it. A lot of blind ultimates that ended up in a lot of kills, but ultimately they did lose. So that being said, Swindle Melon's taking that Torture, and if evidence points to anything, he will be taking mid lane, probably against either this Pebbles, Valkyrie, or... oh yeah, these guys have a little bit of an extra timer there. So let's see what Cardinal goes. Quick note, Tobacco, I guess, headed back off to bed. They brought in Cardinal again, so this is the same lineup they had, SK Gaming had, when they won their first match. Now there were no roster changes here for Milk and Cookies, as they are the same people they were for game number 2. Maybe going with a Swiftblade. Nope, going with that Dark Lady. So a Dark Lady hard carry to go alongside that Pebbles. Interesting enough, both of them will be melee. So we're going to have to see if that comes into any kind of play. Valkyrie is setting up there nice and ready, all ready to go. And teams have now been finalized. Game number 3 of the SK versus Clan Milk series. Whoever wins this one takes the series and will advance to round 2. So it has been definitely a fun series, as each game has really gone super well for each respective side. It seems whoever is the Hellborn seems to win, and SK is Hellborn. So all that's being set aside, let's get it on. Oh, a pause right off the bat. Man, we've been in the game like 4 seconds. But that's okay. 4 seconds in. We're now... Card is AFK. Cardinal is AFK. Okay. So we're 3 hours into when we originally started. Definitely getting a little bit dry of voice solo casting all these games. But I'm trying my best. Hopefully you guys will appreciate and listen and love the cast. Again, both these teams, really good teams. SK, of course, used to be Team 5, and Milk, the clan that went to Neva, was paid. Lots of drama about them. Milkfat was even on the George Lopez show. Unfortunately, that was not a positive publicity, so to speak. But anyone can go watch that. Just check it out. George Lopez, Milkfat. Probably come up, no problem. But we haven't really seen much of the Team Milk ever since, I guess, Neva collapsed, as they kind of went into hiding, I suppose. But Milkfat has come back, at least with his milk tag, and I'm going to be calling their team Milk and Cookies this entire match, simply because they're not in Clan Milk, and, you know, Milk and Cookies is kind of a nice saying. I like Milk and Cookies. I used to leave out Milk and Cookies for Santa Claus during Christmas, and they would always be eaten. You know, the milk would always be gone. We'd always be like, hey, he took them. He left us the good presents. Yay! Then I found out it was my dad. So, yep, bubble burster there. But if you're watching this cast, I'm assuming you're old enough anyways. I wonder if that's Milkfat's real number. I could phone him right now just to find out, but it's nearly midnight here, so I don't really want to do that. So, yeah, this is the Invitational Tournament for Game Relays. We've kind of had all our qualifying tournament matches all out of the way. So this is now the Invitational. Everyone that is in the tournament has won, one of the tournaments in the past 5 qualifying rounds. So it's basically the mix mash of all the winners. So SK did win a game, and I believe Milk also won a round before they disbanded. I know Load was in there as well. Oh yeah, Milk was also called Clan Neva at the time. So that's why, if you're having a little bit of trouble remembering that, they were Neva at the time. Of course, Ryan Vievi drama, only spicing up life to a good degree. But let's get back to the game. We do have a roaming lane set up downstairs with that Dark Lady. I really would have liked to see the Swift Blade come out, but Dark Lady it is. So roaming Andro, roaming Witchslayer, Dark Lady support. That's going to be putting us with a Pebbles mid up against this Torturer, who is Swindle Melons. He has been mid all 3 games for Clan Milk. He's on kind of a terrible computer, is the word. Bird is the word. But he has done fairly well mid as well. I don't know if he's going to stay mid. Defiler might try to fight him for it. But we got a Hellbringer down south. We have a Valkyrie up top. Now, Hello.jpg here did very well last game with that Gladiator for SK Gaming. Gonna see what kind of Valkyrie skills he has. Looks like, however, Tri-Lane up top, Torturer and Engineer combo with this Pharaoh to counter, I suppose, the Tri-Lane that is no longer south. Looks like the Tri-Lane actually moved up mid, so this could be definitely a Bloodlust kill right here. Defiler getting bloodlusted upon 30 seconds into the game. Sneaking Defiler. I don't know, talking a little bit of smack, but down he goes. That Tri-Lane definitely made a great call by cycling up north to that mid. Andromeda, Witchslayer, good times. Now this Hellbringer, if he overextends himself a little bit, could be finding himself face to face with a Charging Strikes Dark Lady. But I think he knew enough to get back in time. Did not get hit upon there. But hey, early Bloodlust, it's always good to see. Defiler going in on this Pebbles. It's just going to be spamming Wave of Death is all I can assume at this point. There's a taunt sitting on top of her. Oh, who taunted her? Probably Card now. But that Wave of Death is going to make life very hard for Pebbles, especially since she's already ranged, and that Wave of Death has a big range of, you know, decent hits and damage. So Andromeda and Witchslayer going in on, Andromeda and Witchslayer going in on Hellbringer, but I think he was a little too far back, as Dark Lady was nowhere near that. But that's interesting. Hellbringer will be left to his own devices, as well as Defiler in the mid, and Torture, Pharaoh, and Engineer top. I would have said Hellbringer would have went top and Torture would have soloed, because I was kind of under the impression they were going to use that Torture in more of a semi-carry capacity. I mean, he's pure magic damage, and he's pure AoE. I mean, that's basically all he's good for. And I say all that's good for like a bad thing, but when every skill of yours is AoE, you know, the more enemy heroes against you, the more damage you're going to be doing. Down south, it looks like this Hellbringer just cannot grab a break. Might be going down here, and by might, I mean, like, definitely going down here. The 2 double auto attacks just going to be ripping him a new one. That leaves Dark Lady just a little bit of free farm. Now level 3, going for the Dark Blades Charging Strikes combo. Now, some people like to use the Taint Soul. It's 30 mana. It's, you know, very easily rechargeable, especially if you have a Glacius on your team. But speaking of that, there's no Glacius here. That's like the first time I've seen a no Glacius match, which is kind of funny. Andromeda coming up here to this Defiler, getting a good stun off. Looks like Pebbles is going to be sending her in, but Andromeda getting hit by that tower a lot. Pebbles not able to finish off the Defiler, only needed one more auto attack, and